Alright, welcome to Brandon at Random Reviews, covering one unsystematically chosen movie at a time. We are doing our special trading ratings format yet again, and so it's a little less random, a little more strategized, and my brother-in-law Dan is going to cover how trading ratings works as well as what our topic is.
So as Brandon said, this one's a little less random. Rather than one random movie, we've chosen 6 carefully chosen movies. They're all going to revolve around a certain theme, and then we're going to rate them and hopefully debate the merits and lack thereof of each one. We're always careful to get some bad ones, some good ones. This time I think we got a good mix of that. I got a feeling we're going to agree on a lot of these, if not all of them. I think we're going to be on the same page. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that doesn't make it too boring if we're not vehemently disagreeing about the merits of some terrible movie.
Right.
Disagreeing between whether it's a D or an F.
Right, yeah, that's... I have a feeling that might be the discussion, but it could be fun still anyway.
So this theme is sequels. And I'm going to read the dictionary.com definition of that because that actually tripped us up a little bit. It is a literary work, movie, etc. that is complete in itself but continues the narrative of a preceding work. This only tripped us up on one of them because I don't think either of us realized till after we watched it that Kong Skull Island is actually a reboot. And it's like a totally off-the-wall reboot, that it was not continuing after Kong went back to an island somewhere or something.
Which is funny. I can't believe I didn't realize that. Have you seen the original King Kong? The 1930s or whatever year it was?
I've never seen the super old one. I think I saw the Jack Black one, though. To me, that's a reboot. But apparently,
absolutely, yeah.
This was yet another reboot that they tossed that aside.
I think I've never actually seen the Jack Black one, but I would almost call that a remake more so than a reboot. You know what I mean? Because like Kong Skull Island, like I should have picked up on the fact that they're going to the island. They literally do that in the first King Kong movie, and they find King Kong, and that's what happens. But in this one, it's a little different. But yeah, we didn't pick up on that, and I honestly, it didn't even occur to me because there are so many Kong and Godzilla movies now that it's like, it seemed like they were all sequels.
And I had even seen it before, years ago when it first came out, but it didn't really register to me that, they're going back, they're just going way back. But either way, you wanted to talk about some also mentions, some ones that we thought about covering, but didn't cover before we actually get into the 6 that we chose.
With this one, we didn't want to pick every true sequel because there's potential down the road for, like, comic book movies. Obviously, I'm a big Batman fan. The Dark Knight comes up. It's considered a really great sequel, and a lot of people say it supersedes the original, Batman Begins.
So instead, we picked a comic book movie that we will not be covering.
Yes. And some of the other ones, Aliens, I think that would fit another topic as well. There's a bunch of them. The Godfather... Part 2 is amazing. Part 3 is shite. There's Rambo, Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan. These are ones but there's one that I wonder if Dan thought of, and he said he didn't write the honorable mentions down beforehand, but there's one sequel that stands out to me that I wish we could have covered. You know, the first movie was a big drama, and then the sequel was more of an action movie, right? And I don't know if you know what I'm thinking of, but Good Will Hunting 2 Hunting Season is one of my, I want that whole movie so bad. I want to see them just going on a rampage. It'd be so great.
Someone needs to start an online petition. Those tend to motivate Kevin Smith.
Yes, apparently. He's interested in whatever.
He's made worse movies based on online petitions.
Right. So what were some of the other ones you had for... also mentions.
A couple of the other ones I was thinking of, I went back and I was watching all the old Planet of the Apes movies. So I had written down Beneath the Planet of the Apes, but because we watched Kong Skull Island anyway, that opens the door for we're already starting down the road of monkey movies. So maybe we'll get to that later. The Lord of the Rings sequels, though, based on the definition I just read, they don't really stand on their own. Two Towers or Return of the King, so I don't know that those would actually really be eligible.
I might be incorrect about this. I'm not as big on Lord of the Rings as you probably are, but didn't Tolkien write that as one whole book and then divide it after the fact?
I believe so. I think based
that was
on the publisher not wanting to release a 1,200-page book, because no one would do that.
Right.
A 1,200-page fantasy novel. Who's ever heard of that, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
And then I had the Bourne sequels, but honestly, there's enough of those now. We could probably do an entire show on those movies. Yeah. And even have some good ones and some bad ones.
Yeah.
And what else did I have in here? I think that's all that I had.
If not for us covering Mad Max Fury Road in the Tom Hardy episode, I think we would have definitely covered that in this episode, but we had already talked about it, and that one's spectacular. I mean, that's great.
Speaking of that, though, I did recently watch Furiosa, and it got me thinking, as we were doing this, we could do a prequels one at some point. Because that'd be a fun one to talk about, too. I got a lot to say on it.
Oh, yeah. There's so much with prequels. It's like casting, picking people that look like the people and all that. There are so many sequels, especially these days, where it's like, I think they had like a Disney convention like a month ago. All they were announcing were sequels and remakes for their like next 12 movies they're coming out with for like Disney animation, like Toy Story 5 and stuff like that. So it's like, there's so many sequels. The market is saturated, so...
They're low risk. You know?
They are.
It's a business, and they're guaranteed hits.
Today, our first part of this series is going to cover... I'll go through, with each movie, I'll kind of do what I do on a normal episode, and I will talk about the title of the movie, release date, actors, director, all that stuff, and just give you a brief overview of the movies. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, released on May 24th, 1989. That stars Harrison Ford and Sean Connery and a myriad of other people that I honestly don't know by name.
Allison Duty.
You said duty. There are some return players from the original Raiders of the Lost Ark because Temple of Doom, the second Indiana Jones movie, is technically a prequel because it takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's a lot of things, and I think Steven Spielberg even said that he was not pleased with Temple of Doom and he wanted to redeem himself with this third Indiana Jones movie. After Indiana Jones's father goes missing, searching for the Holy Grail, he goes to try and find his father and also subsequently find the Holy Grail. This is set in the late 1930s at the beginning of World War II. Where are you at? Did you see this one? I mean, you were old enough probably to have seen this closer to release than I did.
Strangely, I recall having the VHS of this, and I feel like there was some sort of McDonald's promotion in 1990 or 91 where you could buy movies at McDonald's, but they only had like 3 different movies. They had like this, and I think Mr. Mom and something else. So I think that's how we got this movie, actually, which seems so odd now that you would go to a fast food place specifically because, oh my gosh, for $10 we can get this VHS movie.
There are some movies where I remember hearing about, like in the 80s and early 90s, they were so obnoxiously expensive to buy a VHS. It was just like not realistic for somebody to just go out and buy VHSs like they did later on.
They were like $20 in 1990 dollars.
So $700 in today. Yeah. But I mean, I love this third installment. I don't know if I like it better than the original, but it's definitely a close second for me. I love the dynamic between Harrison Ford and his father, played by Sean Connery. They have a great back and forth, and they're like both constantly annoyed with each other. Anytime they're talking to each other, there's this father-son back and forth of like, why are you being so fucking annoying about this? Like, it's kind of the vibe I get from everything they talk about.
It's the classic, he's constantly trying to impress, yet disappointing his father.
Yes.
And his father is constantly disappointed by and like he wants him to be better and whatever. But they take a light comedic twist on it.
It's funny because as much as his dad obviously acts like he always knows what's best and he never screws up, he is repeatedly screwing things up. They're tied back to back in chairs by rope, and he's going to use Indy's lighter this is a terrible plan, by the way, like, it's to burn the rope that is tying you together to try and, like, weaken it enough, I guess, to loosen it. But he drops the lighter and starts a fire. It immediately makes this a very urgent situation, whereas it was just minorly urgent that they just get out of there as soon as they could, and all of a sudden he's got them on the brink of death. And he's in the back of this single-engine airplane, fighter jet type thing. He's trying to shoot these other planes out of the air, and he shoots their own plane in the tail. he just writes it out, oh, whoops, they got us, son, I'm sorry. Like, he doesn't accept the responsibility at all. It's fucking great. Yeah. And it's, man, well, I fucking love it.
So I was old enough to remember watching it. I would have been 7 years old when it came out, though I didn't see it in the theaters. I watched it on tape. I definitely watched it a lot, but I don't think I was quite old enough to really understand what was going on. Because when I look back at the time, I think I just thought it was like this hour-and-a-half long obstacle course to get this magic cup. I don't think I put a lot of the clue searching and all that and the puzzle solving. Oh, yeah. To me, it was just these bad guys are after him and they got to get to the cup first or whatever.
Right. That's why, as a little kid, you don't recognize a bad movie as easily or a good movie as easily. It's all the excitement, and as long as it keeps your attention, which it frequently will,
and it did.
You're going to love it. Yeah, oh yeah. It's starting off this movie, we get River Phoenix as young Indiana Jones, which honestly, other than Stand By Me, and I'm trying to think of there are some of his that I wanted to see, but he obviously died very young, and it's very cool to see that he got to be a part of this series of movies, and he's pretty good. I like him in it.
I gotta say, looking back, was that entire opening sequence really necessary? Did we need to be introduced to who Indiana Jones is at this point?
I would tend to agree with that. It was fun, but yes, it was one of those things that it's you could have omited this. Did I really need to see how Indiana Jones got his fedora? Did I really need to know that?
And the scar on his chin, right?
Right. Yeah, it's okay. We get to have a little bit of that prequel discussion here because of that, because that's one of the things that prequel movies like to do. Oh, let's explain everything. I know you're not a huge Star Wars fan, but the movie Solo, the Han Solo movie, it was you've got Chewbacca, and they spell out how Han Solo started calling him Chewie. He's just Chewbacca, I'll call you Chewie. We don't need the origin of that. It's not a big leap to get to that nickname, so it's don't go there. But one thing I will say with this movie is it was a very interesting choice, and I won't use the term that I've heard used for this, but the fact that Indy and his dad had slept with the same woman, it's a lot for me to
Creepy under the radar love stories seems to be a thing though in Indiana Jones, because in Raiders of the Lost Ark, wasn't the love interest 14 or something? Yeah,
when he first meets what's her name, Marion or something, and she was supposedly super young, and he took advantage of her, all this stuff. It's oh yeah, but he's Indiana Jones, who cares? It's you don't really think anything of it, especially when you're younger watching this. I always assumed, because I saw this when I was a little older and had a little more familiarity with history, I always thought that they were literally on the Hindenburg when they were getting onto that Zeppelin. I'm wait a minute, how the fuck could that be? I had to look it up and find out that it was just some Zeppelin, and
there was more than one Zeppelin.
Right. There's a lot of iconic scenes like that, and I would say, arguably, for me, the final 25 to 30 minutes of this movie is spectacular. It is so compelling because you get to watch him work out, how do I get through all of these traps and all of these different puzzles to get to this room where I'm supposed to find the Holy Grail. You've got the intensity of they shot his dad, and basically it's hey, if you don't find the Holy Grail for us, he's going to die because you won't be able to use the Holy Grail to make him better. Yeah.
The pacing of that movie is fantastic. It just keeps going. There's always tension. There's always something coming over their shoulder. A lot of the effects seem pretty practical. It didn't look dated to me watching it.
No.
I will say, so you mentioned that it was second to you behind Raiders of the Lost Ark. I have gone back and I've watched all three of the original ones from the 80s in the last 10 years, I would say. This to me, is by far my favorite one.
Really?
Going back and watching them, I think having watched them when we were kids versus watching them now, I thought Raiders of the Lost Ark was pretty cheesy. And I know that I'll get probably take flack for saying that, but like I remember when Indiana Jones 4 came out with Shia LaBeouf and all that, and everybody was just panning.
Your boy Shia, your favorite.
I don't get that guy. Like everybody was panning it, it's so cheesy and it's corny and whatever. If you actually objectively go back and watch Raiders of the Lost Ark is just as corny and cheesy. Like it is. It really, and to me, Raiders felt dated. Temple of Doom is traumatizing.
Yeah,
it's absolutely horrifying. Oh god, it's so dark.
I remember with Temple of Doom, the big thing for me was like my mom was watching it with me as a kid. The part where the guy pulls the heart out of the guy's chest.
Yeah. Kali Ma.
It's like you've got what's his name, Short Round, and you've got whatever Kate Capshaw's character's name is. They are two of the most annoying characters in all of cinema. Like they are obnoxious. All she does is screams, and all the little kid does is talk way too fucking much, and it's like, get this kid the fuck out of here. Like, why would he be with you through any of this? Find somewhere for him to be. It's kind of like that bias. The first movie, I still enjoy it. I recognize that it has its flaws, but it's still, to me, I hold it a little higher.
But this one, and now granted also, this was the first of the three I probably ever saw in its entirety, because I would have been a little too young for the other ones. But like going back even and watching it, I think the action holds up. The humor is good, as we discussed. The humor is right there. There are a couple of cheesy parts, like when he jousts on the motorcycle, and stuff like that. But like I didn't find them like distracting. And all in all, I think it's fun. It's the adventure it's supposed to be. The story's great. I do wonder if in this day and age, a movie aimed at not necessarily kids, but an audience that is as widely general as kids to adults would have quite that much Nazi paraphernalia in it.
Yeah.
They are the bad guys, though. Flat
they
out,
are.
They are the bad
That's
guys.
Fair. Yeah.
Nobody's sympathizing with them. I will say one trivia point that I was going to note that I just noticed this morning, actually, prepping for this. The budget for this movie was $48 million. And in today's dollars, that's $120 million. That seems like really low for what this movie is. If they were to make this today, it'd be like a $300 million budget. What was the latest couple of Indiana Jones movie budgets?
Oh, God. I'd have to look them up. No matter what, they would do a bunch of CGI. And even though, it's like $120 million, today it doesn't sound like that much.
I guess but it was 100. Crystal Skull was 185 million, and they made another one too, right?
Yeah, Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny. There you go. Dial of Destiny was 295 to 387 million dollars. That's what I would have expected.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And
for some
and
reason,
they
there's
did
a range.
And I think I never saw the newest one, but I heard that they did CGI de-aging of Harrison Ford and stuff. So that has to be super.
That's got to be $100 million right there.
Yeah, but it's definitely interesting, and I would think even more so to your point, the budget, it has to be more expensive if you're doing a movie that's a period piece, and not everything is readily available to you to shoot this movie that looks like it's in the 1930s. And there has to be all these hurdles to go over. But all in all, I guess we could get to ratings on this one. It's for me, my personal rating for this one is an A. I love this movie. I really think it's great. I'm a big fan of this series. And it's Harrison Ford and Sean Connery. I mean, you can't really ask for much better of a 1-2 punch in a movie. And they have a great dynamic.
I also gave it an A, if not trending to the high end of A. I think it's a fantastic movie. It holds up in every way. I'd watch it again in a heartbeat.
And that's what's funny is the period piece movies, it's amazing. They do seem to hold up better for that kind of stuff. It's just they don't look dated because they're supposed to look dated. You don't feel like they look. It's a nice move. You're not shaking your head at oh, this is fucking stupid or something. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, we both give it an A, and I love it. It's great.